Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Busted Business Bureau podcast. My name is Christian Borky. This podcast is sponsored by the Lincoln Lodge, where we are currently sitting, and my guest is so amazing. I'm so excited to have him on. It is Karsten Runquist. Say hi.
Hi. Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Karsten, what a delight it is to have you on this specific episode of the Busted Business Bureau podcast.
Kars4Kids.
Yeah.
Not to spoil it, but...
You've spoiled about 1 minute into the future,
all right,
so
yeah.
I hope everybody's happy. This episode is, in fact, about Kars4Kids. What a delightful topic. Karsten, initially, what are your impressions of Kars4Kids? What do you know about it?
It's always been like kind of a mysterious thing for me. I've seen billboards all over the place. If I'm not mistaken, we'll learn later, but they're a Minnesota thing, maybe. I just know they're a big thing in Minnesota. And I heard the theme song many times. But I never actually knew what it meant. I never actually...
This is so interesting to hear.
Yeah.
And the only person who finds it interesting right now is me, that you find it a big deal being from Minnesota, because it is, but it's not based out of Minnesota. It's just had some beef with Minnesota.
That's so good.
Right.
Okay. This is great.
Okay, so for those listening at home, Kars4Kids has aggressive nationwide marketing. And the theme song is 1877 Kars4Kids, K-A-R-S, Kars4Kids. 1877 Kars4Kids, donate your car today. Most people know the jingle. They don't know where your money goes once you donate. One of the funniest things about Kars4Kids initially to me is that their social media presence is fucking ludicrous. As in... A lot of people like make fun of the theme song because it's annoying, it's catchy, it's whatever. And every time it's on like a TV show, the Kars4Kids media team will record it and put it on their social media. They'll be like, we were on Family Guy. And, like, post the clip.
We share it on their stories, you know.
It literally, yeah. They're so fucking funny. And credit where credit is due. Wendy Curran is the Kirwan. Curwan?
Kwan.
Wendy Curwan is the director of communications, and I wanted to get more specific to see if there's like a social media manager to find. There's no hits, but when you type in social media on the Kars4Kids LinkedIn, 3 separate people have Cars as their profile picture. One of whom is the fictional tow truck from Cars.
Oh my God. That is...
So they're committed to the bit.
Yeah.
Car
heads.
They picked a great industry. Anyways, because clearly there's an employee who searches Kars4Kids daily on social media and then reposts it, I'm so horrified they're going to find this.
They 100% are going to find this.
And so in the effort of, in case they're particularly litigious, this is not a bash piece about Kars4Kids. I want to treat this more like an onion because a lot of people know the outer layer of what Kars4Kids is, but literally where does your money go and who's associated with Kars4Kids? It's putting that puzzle together, if you will.
Yeah.
So this is not to say like, don't donate your money to Kars4Kids, they're terrible or whatever. Getting that out of the way, don't sue me. Okay. I want to first answer the burning question that everyone asks me when I tell them I'm going to do this fucking episode. What is a car donation? Does a child literally receive your car?
Yeah.
No. They don't. A child does not literally receive your car. The way you donate a car to any charity organization is easy enough if they know what they're doing. Kars4Kids does. What needs to be explained is that you give them your car, they pay somebody to either tow it or resell it, or just scrap it for parts. And the money they get from reselling it or scrapping it for parts is the money that will then be donated to the organization. So they don't literally do anything with your car other than sell it.
Yeah.
And if you wanted to, you could just sell it yourself and give the money directly to the organization.
Right.
But the reason why you don't do that is because once you donate to the organization, you get a tax write-off, which is also what's in the commercial when like there's like a little kid fake playing the violin who's like, you get a tax deduction. And so that is the mutually beneficial relationship to you to like give your car to Kars4Kids specifically.
Just for the write-off.
For the write-off.
Yeah.
What is interesting about the tax write-off part of the Kars4Kidsing
Here we go.
is that you don't actually receive a lot of a tax deduction because if you're a normal person, you don't itemize your taxes.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'll talk about it later. I wrote it all down. It's like 3 pages
edge
in the
of
future.
my seat.
Do you want to guess how many cars they received in 2019?
Oh, Jesus. This could be anywhere from like, I'm going to say like 70,000.
They received 145,072 cars for a total of $67,275,147 in the year of our Lord 2019, which is the last time they released a Form 990, which is like a thing nonprofits have to release. Guess how many boats?
Oh, Jesus, boats. I'm going to say like 20,000?
No, it was only 1,693 for a total of $1,216. I'm sorry, 1,216,665. I can't read. Guess how many houses?
Houses? Houses for kids?
7.
Yeah, 7? It's 7? Okay.
For a total of $239,000.
Okay.
The way that boats and house donations, you could also do like land donations.
Yeah.
And it works the exact same way, where you give up a piece of land, it's resold, that money goes to Cars for Kids. I did put together a little page for you to look at.
Oh, thank you.
Of some cars that were sold recently to Cars for Kids. A 2014 GMC Terrain by Andrea Kay 9 days ago. A 2009 Dodge Journey by Timothy S.
Wow.
Also 9 days ago. A 2007 Hyundai Elantra by Michael F.
Damn.
There's a multifamily residence in Kankakee, Illinois that was recently donated to Cars for Kids. It is a slice of fucking paradise that the Cars for Kids team has received. It is very exciting for them.
Oh my gosh. I thought you were going to show me that page and be like, oh my God, that's my car. Like, how did they get it? That's great.
So that is the kind of stuff you are allowed to donate to Cars for Kids. But I do want to talk about the taxes now. Once you've gone ahead and given up your 2010 Nissan Cube or whatever, the next part is that you'll get either a vacation voucher or a tax deduction.
Okay.
And if you want to claim a car donation to reduce your federal income taxes, you have to itemize deductions. You could itemize even if the donated auto is your only deduction, but that's usually not the best choice. Here's the math, and this is from a USA Today article from Peter Garaffa Edmonds. Thank you, bestie. Here's the math. Suppose you're in the 28% tax bracket and the allowable deduction for the vehicle's donation is $1,000. That will save you $280 in taxes. If the car donation is your only deduction, it's likely that taking a standard deduction would save you thousands of dollars more in taxes. The only way that donating a car nets you any tax benefit is if you have many deductions that in their total, including the car, exceeds the standard deduction. I don't think you understood any of those words, and that's not your fault.
I mean, I understood a good amount.
I don't understand fucking anything when it comes to taxes, but basically,
Yeah.
if the car sells for a certain amount, you're allowed to take a certain amount out of your taxes. Usually your car sells for fucking shit, and so it doesn't make a difference. And since your car usually sells for shit, unless you're itemizing a bunch of other stuff, it's just not worth it to like take it off your taxes because nobody's itemizing it who's a normal person.
So why would you do it? Like,
You would, I guess, do it for the kids, for the community.
think about the kids.
For the idea that you are helping somebody out. The free vacation voucher is much more appealing than the tax write-off, but I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I don't.
Wow.
But that begs the question, what did you actually contribute to once you've donated your car to Cars for Kids? Because you're not really getting much of a tax thing off of it. So what are the kids that you're helping? I'll cut directly to the chase. The primary beneficiaries of Cars for Kids donation are Orthodox Jewish children living in the New York and New Jersey general area. Okay. And that's it. We'll talk about their specific programming and goals later, but it's important to note that despite the nationwide fundraising campaigns, little to no children in other states receive any benefits from Cars for Kids.
That is hilarious.
So fucking funny. So remember that 67 million figure?
Yeah.
That's all for New York and New Jersey Orthodox Jewish children.
Oh my.
Which, I think that's iconic and legendary.
It's hilarious.
But
great bit.
If you live in the state of Oregon or Pennsylvania or Minnesota, you might be a little bit upset about that because you have specific laws against somebody advertising or not specifying in their advertisements what the money's going to.
Right.
So there are two. If you're a religious listener already of the podcast, you'd be surprised to hear that I'm already going to bring up litigation, but here it comes. I'm unable to find the documents on the Attorneys General online databases, but allegedly, Oregon and Pennsylvania AGs each settled in court with Cars for Kids over misleading donor practices. They were like, you don't specify that this is for Orthodox Jewish children in New York and New Jersey. You can't advertise here.
Yeah.
And so they had given up over $100,000 to each of those states, which is not a huge chunk of money.
Right.
Minnesota, the Minnesota Attorney General goes fucking insane. She goes so hard on this. And that is like the biggest suit, I guess, against Kars4Kids.
Yeah.
Because she like did the math. It's like maybe one Minnesotan child has ever benefited from a Kars4Kids program. And like, you know, a lot of Minnesotans donate to Kars4Kids, as do a lot of people in a lot of states. So that is why you probably know about it, being from Minnesota, is because it was a big deal in Minnesota.
Yeah.
It was like a big deal lawsuit. So that's pretty interesting. I will say, though, the reason why I'm putting this at the beginning is because it's not the full story. And I don't think the most interesting thing about Kars4Kids is that it's for Jewish children. And I think, you know, even if the lawsuits are not necessarily about being anti-Semitic, the responses to them online certainly are.
Yeah.
They're like, I can't believe it's for Jewish children. Like, that's the bad part, you know? So that is why, that's not even the most important part of the story, you know? So that's annoying, but it's worth it to mention that in some states, Kars4Kids has been, you know, litigated over for misleading donor practices, which is funny.
It's hilarious.
It's so funny. But I felt like I needed to mention that because of all of the coverage I've seen, especially, oh God, there was one from like The Friendly Atheist on YouTube. And it was like, it's actually Jewish. And so think about when you're donating to something religious.
Oh my God.
And it's like, no, man, I think Orthodox Jewish children should have summer camps.
Yeah, right.
Just enjoy
it's not the issue here.
Yeah. So that's where we're starting in the story. But basically, what I also need to say is that part of the litigation as well is that Kars4Kids doesn't do a lot of programming under the Kars4Kids name. If you go on the website, you'll find that they donate most of their money to another charity called Oorah.
Oh, no, that rings a bell. I remember this one.
Yeah, so I gave Carson like a skeleton version of this like months ago, and so I think it's lighting up things in his brain.
Oorah stuck. Just let it be known.
Of the things I retained.
Yeah, Oorah.
So Oorah, I'm sure you're like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
For the listeners
Break
at home.
it down.
Oorah has existed since 1980, and its mission has always been very clearly stated: to enrich the lives of Orthodox Jewish children and connect them more deeply to their heritage. That's on their website. It was founded by Rabbi Chaim Mintz and is now run by his son, Eliyahu Mintz, who is also the main dude, the founder of Kars4Kids. And he currently runs both of the nonprofits. Eliyahu Mintz is like the main character.
He's the guy.
He's the guy.
Yeah.
He's the guy you're going to want to know. I was going to save this for the end, but he has like several different websites, like eliyahuminz.com, .org.net, that all have different content on them.
What?
You would think
so good.
You'd think you'd want to put it all on one website, or just redirect it to.
Nah, he's got different places for different things.
Like one of them's about like politics, and the other one's about like his business history, and the other one's like a blog. Like, it's so funny. I've never met a funnier man.
Oh my God.
Anyways, the thing is, Kars4Kids mostly acts as a fundraising wing, a